Listen to podcasts. Let's talk some sports. It's Big D Energy.
Yo. Welcome back, everybody, to Big D Energy right here on the Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neal. Ruhl. That guy over there is D-Mac. Darren McCarty. We got Sam Flannel. We got Spencer Raxter here in the building as well. Anything happened yesterday?
Anything to talk about today? Anything to talk about? Anything going on tonight?
What's your favorite sandwich, everybody, on the YouTube chat thread?
Peanut butter and jelly. Give it up for Maddie. Let's go.
Tuna fish or peanut butter and jelly? 2 for it. No, there's a lot to get to. There is no doubt. Remember, you can tap in, get your thoughts known on our YouTube channel if you're watching there. Our Twitter handles are on the screen also. You can tap in that way as well. And, again, happy to have everybody in there. Mike G, is that Mike G first in there?
Well, he was giving Rake credit, so
Rake was first one in.
Yeah.
So they're tag teaming up on Dabber though. Dabber's slipping today. The boys are ready.
Yeah.
The hunger.
They're buzzing.
First shift. I love it, Rake.
Yeah, they're absolutely buzzing. So happy to have everybody here with us, and certainly have a lot to get to. The Jerami Grant trade, and it's a really interesting deal in that you're seeing a lot of the obscurities of the NBA come into play. And, it's something where the NBA elite rejoice because there are some technical aspects to it all that, I'll try to do my best to understand, to explain them. And D-Mac, I had a breakthrough with you and Stick before the show.
Actually, we went through this before, obviously, at this station, obviously being the hockey guy and just growing up, I'm privy to basketball, but the way that you broke it down to Stick and I, actually, you had to use a stick analogy. You had to use a bar analogy for Stick, and I sat here and went, oh my gosh, that makes total sense. But the one word that you mentioned, Neal, when it comes to the NBA, because like getting off topic where I said about what about the salary cap? You said if you don't understand that there's the word you used, it was draft. If you don't understand the draft,
just flexibility. If you don't understand the trade
and the
exception,
nuances.
and the trade exception and everything like that, where as it broke down, and obviously, we'll talk to Jeff Iafrate. He's here in studio in just a little bit, and we have Sam Flannel and Spencer Raxter. They're NBA dorks as well, D-Mac. So we'll guide you through the process.
You put NBA in the front of that. That was nice.
Yeah. Well,
just
dorks in general, but in particular NBA dorks.
Yes, I love it.
But Sam, I don't know how much you heard of that, where I kind of explained it, and here's my take on it, where it's very apparent to me that Troy Weaver valued flexibility. And I'm talking flexibility in all forms: salary cap, draft capital, the ability to go after free agents if he chooses, the ability also, which doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a free agent process now, the ability to take on bad contracts, to get more draft capital. He can do anything you want to do right now from a GM perspective, Sam.
And when you're a bad team, particularly a bad team with an up-and-coming, what we think is going to be a superstar like Cade Cunningham, when I hear flexibility, I love that. Because that just means to me that Troy Weaver can build this team in a lot of different ways. He has a lot of ways in which he can go. And so far, the returns on Troy Weaver, in my opinion, have been good, especially with picking Cade Cunningham. I'm not a super big fan of the Isaiah Stewart pick, but that's beside the point. But for the most part, it's been good. He got Bagley. So I trust Troy Weaver. And when I hear flexibility, I'm like, that is a good word for the Pistons right now.
Yeah, and I heard people just instantly crushed on the pick. And Spence, it makes me laugh. Because do you think that Troy Weaver's in the business of, somebody else was offering, the number 6 overall pick in the draft, and I said no because I wanted this pick. This is what the market is. And I also laugh when I hear people say, well, they could have got more on the trade deadline day, this past season. Oh, were you taking the calls?
Yeah, this was reportedly the best trade they got for Jerami Grant
in totality.
In totality, yes, from last year going on to this year. So Yeah, I trust Troy Weaver, and like Sam said, and like you pointed out, with the flexibility that's good for the Pistons right now, because we still don't know how we're going to build this team around Cade Cunningham. I've said it multiple times on if you want to get a Robin for Cade's Batman and go the Golden State or Boston Celtics approach where you get those two studs in there, or you want to go the Dallas Mavericks approach where you have Luka Doncic as your centerpiece and you build a team around him. So it definitely opens up a lot of different avenues, a lot of possibilities of what this team can look like in the future. And now we have the cap flexibility as well as the assets in the draft to go out and make that a reality, whatever Troy Weaver decides to do.
And D-Mac, C. Gerald in our YouTube chat thread says the Pistons aren't going to be a bad team this year. You still have to see how things shake out tonight.
Well, that'd be the initial question that I had. There's two things, because we went over a possible trade yesterday where you guys brought up Bogdanovich from Atlanta and the 16th pick, and then this comes down. So I'm thinking initially, does it have effect? And I asked you this earlier on tonight's draft for Detroit, and pretty much what you told me is just flexibility to be able to go any which way you want.
Right.
So I think that's the interesting thing.
And the result of that flexibility, to touch on C. Gerald's point, it doesn't necessarily mean you're not going to be a bad team next year, because if you don't like the lay of the landscape from a free agency perspective, this allows you to take back expiring contracts for more draft capital next year.
Right. Now, bad, do we mean bad record-wise, right? Because when we talk about the Pistons, I think that we've made it clear, and you've sort of made this clear, that this last year when you said, this team will be better. The record probably won't be. So really this Pistons team, where they're at with the youth, the record correlates to where they're going, but really isn't the end-all be-all, right?
Correct.
It's the flexibility in the salary cap, to be the ability, I think you brought it up, to be able to go out and get whoever you wanted this year, or even wait and see what happens for next year. So does this make you more excited than you were yesterday for the draft for the Pistons tonight?
No, I don't think anything changes. I think Keegan Murray comes into play a lot more. He's now the betting favorite to be the number 5 pick in the draft. I don't like it either. Yeah. Okay, I'm not thrilled. I'm not enamored with it. That whole Iowa Purdue circle for me. You know where it is. But with all that being said, would I take and look, we always talked about before, like paying the known tax, right? I would say Jerami Grant at 28 to 32 million. I'm more comfortable with that than rolling with Keegan Murray, but Jerami Grant's gone now. So I don't have a huge problem because I got my trade exception and I got my flexibility. I don't have a huge problem where if you want to fill that hole in particular, you take a spin with them and see it's a rookie contract, You know how the rest of it works. It's just on my end, I don't think I still want to see the shooting issues handled. I still want to see.
Still got to find points.
Yeah, I want somebody elite. My stance doesn't change. I want somebody elite at the process of the ball going through the net, either when they shoot it for 3, either when they get into the lane and finish at a high rate, either that they're an elite passer that can find passing angles that result to more offensive efficiency. You know what I'm saying? That's what I want. I don't want, quote, elite athleticism if it's not attached to the ball going through the net. Am I being too simple here, Sam Flannel?
No, not at all. And that's one of the reasons why I particularly, where I disagree with you and Spencer, I want Keegan Murray. That was my guy from the beginning because he was a 55% shooter, because he shot 40% from 3, and he averaged 23.5 a game. And that's something the Pistons lacked last season. Killian Hayes, obviously a bad offensive player. Sadiq Bey could get very hot, but he could also get as cold as Antarctica. And Jerami Grant wasn't very efficient either. I want an efficient wing, and that's where I think you're describing Keegan Murray in some ways, because I think he is elite at those levels.
Yeah, but I'm talking about, though, in the NBA, in a positionless NBA with wing guys and guys that can put it on the floor, guys that can shoot it, guys that are capable of getting their own shot, guys that are capable of breaking people down 1v1. I don't see that dynamic ability from him. And then look, we got all day to talk about the NBA draft. Certainly we're gonna get into all that. It's just I've always been enamored with the wing spot, and that's a spot the Pistons haven't had for a long time.
Well, you mentioned it in yesterday. The thing is that I got from all the conversation is that no matter what it is, we need a team that can fill the basket, right? 3's the new 2, you know,
Right.
different size. So you need shooters no matter where it comes from. Now, obviously, because of draft capital and everything else, to be able to get a guy at 5 and to, you know, what I love about Sam is, you know what, he's adamant of it, and there might be something there. Now you know, look at I think Dad with Tourette's brought it up, different things. You know, David Aldridge. There's speculation out there about Keegan Murray being hyped to be that number 5 guy, which you say, and speculation is that Detroit might have tipped their hand in that way. But if, again, it comes back to, right, this is Troy Weaver. What has he pretty much said? I've given myself some options and whatever, and this is what I'm going to do. And he's going to be adamant. It's sort of like the hashtag Isaac plan, right? It's that way, is you can be confident in who he picks. All I got to say is we just got a Calder Trophy winner being 6th overall pick. Why not do it in basketball?
Right. And it boils down to, when you look at the Pistons franchise and where they were from a personnel perspective 2 years ago, 3 years ago, where they were from a salary cap perspective. You remember those days? Sam Flanagan, that was last year, man.
And what does that say about Troy Weaver? That's one of the jobs of him being the GM for building this team. Clean out the books. Remember Blake Griffin in that contract, among others? Not good. And it's looking bright going forward. And now we have all this cap flexibility. My goodness, it's actually kind of a miracle what he's been able to pull with that. And I know you, Neal, you appreciate that more than anybody. That's one of the jobs.
Because it's the hard part of the job.
Yes.
That's the hard part of the
glamour
job.
part.
That's the offensive line part of the job right there. I remember last year they paid Blake Griffin $30 million. They paid DeAndre Jordan $8 million. Remember the DeAndre Jordan Pistons era? Those were fun. Those were fun days.
That whole no game.
20 minutes,
Yeah.
you know, whatever that number was. Dwayne Dedman was on the books for $3 million last year.
Trevor Ariza.
Servetus was on the books for $1.5 million. Zaire Smith, those were good times. You know, that was $1 million. You know, that was $1 million. Like that's the point of all this. You know, it's not just. And I think the people that are upset about the return, as I talk about, you know, the trade exception thing that comes in, that's valuable. Where to equate it to baseball, when we talked about the Justin Verlander trade, where when you have the veteran, it's up to you in terms of the prospects you get back. The more the contract you pay, the better prospects you get back. The less of the contract you take, the less valuable the prospect. It's up to you what your return is. With this trade exception and not taking anything back, that's key in this trade too. And you know, you talked about Dad with Tourette's in our YouTube chat thread. This is a great line.
Awesome.
No, but this paragraph that he put in there, this is it though.
Yeah.
This is it. We took back zero salary, received a protected 2025 first round pick. The Magic had to take players back and get the same 2025 first round pick for a player who's 3 years younger at the time than Grant is now. And what did I say this Grant thing came down to? Yesterday when we talked about it, last week when we talked about it, at the end of the season when we talked about it, there were 2 plays. You are either going to re-sign him or you're not. That's it.
Which is it, and we'll determine which. Obviously, Troy Weaver is going to tip his hand which way he was going to go, and he did it yesterday. We thought maybe he'd do it on trade deadline day. I'll be talking about, but that'll be interesting because our guy Jeff Iafrate, the juicy one, he will join
Juicy
us.
J. I love it.
J.
I love it. Hey, it's summertime. I know Juicy J sitting there with that luxurious hair, just bumping around town all summer long, sipping on a Cintron, because it is the summer of Cintron, and now it's available at your local Kroger store. You can pick some up the next time you're grocery shopping if you haven't tried it yet. 2 cans, $4 at Kroger. Give it a spin. You're going to like it. Just trust me. You guys are going to like it. Cintron's a new energy drink for the active lifestyle. They're proud partners of Little Caesars Arena, the Detroit Pistons, the Detroit Red Wings, the Detroit Tigers, and of course, Detroit City FC as well. Drink it, live it with Cintron.
New to the game or a season better? OddsTrader.com has everything you need to make the right bet ahead of kickoff. Begin your handicapping journey with OddsTrader. Improve your edge by finding the best price on every game from sportsbooks in your backyard. Take advantage of the numerous sign-up bonus offers to pad your bankroll. Dive into key game statistics, player performance, and even account for the projected game day weather. Best of all, you can use the OddsTrader bet tracker to keep a log of your action. Welcome to OddsTrader, and best of luck.
When you need apparel, there's only one place to go. Big Frog in Novi. With no setup fees, no artwork fees, no minimum, and a 24-hour turnaround, you can have your whole team outfitted in no time. Embroidery, direct-to-garment, vinyl, and screen printing, Big Frog has it all in all the styles you want. So whether it's a sports team, fundraiser, school event, or corporate needs, Big Frog is your one-stop destination. Visit bigfrog.com/Novi or call 844-4-BIG-FROG.
Neal Ruhl here for the Monroe Street Midway in downtown. Bedrock and Rocket Mortgage turned an old parking lot into a massive outdoor playground right next to Campus Martius. Roller skating, basketball courts, a mini golf course, food trucks. There's live music performances, art installations as well. It's a fun place to visit. Whether you're downtown on a date, Stick, I'm talking to you, or you're with the family or hanging out before going over to a Tigers game. They've even got Wi-Fi, so if you want to go down there for lunch, get some work done in the heart of the city, that's on the table for you as well. It's a Monroe Street Midway, right next to Campus Martius, brought to you by Bedrock and Rocket Mortgage. On and poppin', everyone's fired up. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal Ruhl, D-Mac, Darren McCarty, Spencer, Sam Flannel, and our guy, Jeff Iafrate, one of our NBA guys here at Woodward Sports. He's got a long work day ahead of him today. But, hey, you know what? Jeff Iafrate does it. He crawls so we all can walk and run, man. That's the way that it goes. Francis Garcia asked, do salary caps include coaching or executive staffs? Just players, right? That is correct. It is just players. Looted Corpse says, if we get Ayton, I will blank myself. Starts with an S, by the way. Zachary Connolly says, Detroit needs to lock down Troy Weaver and Brad Holmes for 15 years. And, it's one of those things, Jeff, where I've been preaching to everybody when they initially trip out about the return. And we kind of laughed about it last time, where the reports have come out where Troy Weaver has essentially said this was the best option that we have been presented with yet.
Right. And the thing that makes me the most frustrated is people assume that Troy Weaver didn't take the best offer. Like, for some reason, he's just going to look at these offers and take whatever he can get. You got to look at it like this. They didn't trade Jerami at the trade deadline, and I think even if they kept him, longer, the value of Jerami Grant's going to go down. So it was a timely offer. I like the offer. I get why people would be upset because everyone in their right mind assumed that we were getting 7. But sorry to break it to you. Like, we're Pistons fans. We overvalue our players. Spencer kind of talked about this yesterday. Me and him were talking about it. And it makes sense. Like, everyone's all frustrated. But you have to look at the bigger picture. Like, this is flexibility. I talked about this. That's the one word I would use. And it's a great word. It's a position the Pistons haven't been in a long time. And you mentioned Brad Holmes. Him and Troy kind of operate similar. They know how to build the right way, opening up cap space, flexibility, draft capital, and having guys on cheap contracts. So to your point, I was listening to the show. There's so many options. Like, they can go out and if you get a Gordon Hayward, they're going to have to give you assets to take on a contract like Gordon Hayward. And, Gordon Hayward's off the books in 2 years. So there's a lot of options they can go about it, and I can't fault the trade.
Right. And, the questions are getting asked certainly on the YouTube chat thread as well. And Looted Corpse says, who gives a blank about 2025, though? And Looted Corpse, that's what we're driving at right now. With the trade exception and the flexibility that it offers, that's what the market dictates that you get back as a return. And that's what it is. And there is going to be some long game aspect to this. And it's not about a first round pick in 2025, because Jeff talked about the options where you take the corpse of Gordon Hayward and his contract and everything like that, and you can do that. My Knicks thing is in play, where you have them load up the trash bag and you take their number 11 pick in the draft. And all those guys are off the books after next year, like Nerlens Noel, I think Derrick Rose, that kind of stuff.
Right.
That's an option. D-Mac, if you want to get in the DeAndre Ayton mix, you can do it.
Well, I think you're at top of the list if you want to be.
If you want to be, because you have the big. I'll give you an analogy you can understand. You're dictating the game because you have the big stack. You have the ability to write the contract.
Here's my question, Juice. What did this say to the rest of the league? What is the rest of the league, the other teams, or everybody when this trade goes down yesterday? Not only just what are they looking at Troy Weaver and the Detroit Pistons? Is it something that they realize more to Neal's point? Hey, they're positioning themselves. They're getting ready. This is a team in the up and coming. Do you think that they're looked at that way by the rest of the league?
I think, honestly, what I noticed from what they got for Jerami, a part of me tells me that even the league understands what Jerami Grant's worth. Like, really. Like, he had breakout seasons in Detroit, and he's a great player. But on a winning team, he's your third option. And that's kind of the reality of it. I know everyone wants to trade him for the 7th pick, but you're not trading a third option on a winning team for the 7th overall pick. So I think what it told the rest of the league is one, there's a plan, and Troy Weaver understands that. It's longevity, it's building for the future, getting more assets and flexibility. But if you look at it, the thing that I thought was just funny, and I don't know if the truth behind this, but you're hearing the rumors of Portland at 7, shopping that 7th pick for OG Anunoby for the Raptors. And I could make an argument. I think Jeremy's a little better than OG Anunoby, but again, I thought still it was the best offer. So it would. I mean, initially, other teams are probably looking at it like, yeah, that sounds about right. What they got for Jerami Grant makes sense. I know Pistons fans overreact because we feel like he's worth way more than that. But among the league, like Jerami Grant, he put up numbers on Detroit, but what did that do for the team? You get what I'm saying? Like on a winning team, Jerami Grant has value, but he's not getting 20 points on a good team. That's the line to draw right there. So
and the other thing too, like when you look at the OG Anunoby trade, that whole thing, he still got 3 years of control at under $20 million.
Bingo.
So he is more valuable.
Yeah.
Because it's a financial game.
Yeah.
Everyone's playing it. Troy Weaver's playing it right now. It's taking over sports everywhere. We talk about it with Steve Yzerman and everything like that.
Yep.
Cap flexibility and draft capital are how you win now.
Yeah.
When you're in a salary cap era, that's how you win. And that's how the Rams do it, because they have cap flexibility, which people would say, how is that possible? Look at how they're signing. Because there are no first-round picks that they're paying fifth-year options on,
Yep.
or $12 million a year. I mean, when you stretch that out, that's a $28 million head start they have. D-Mac, this is how it works now, everybody. It's not just the draft and sign a free agent, and the next year the draft and sign a free agent. That's not the way it goes. It's a numbers game.
The intricacies, you guys are just talking. I go, this sounds like NFTs or the metaverse or NIL or all this different stuff. But what it really tells you, and in all the different leagues with the cap, is trying to figure out the way around it, right? In hockey, the cap area has been around for not quite 20 years and stuff like this. So you're always evolving and always trying to figure out how to get ahead of it. You mentioned the Rams in football, right, where they've done the opposite of what like the Cincinnati or the San Diegos have done, because they use that first round. They don't use their first rounders. They use that for free agency. So there are ways around it. This just seems, with all the bells and whistles, that when you have a GM like Troy Weaver, right, in the basketball going into the draft, it gives me confidence that he's our guy, because it looks like he's making moves around the league or within the league that top guys do,
right.
Setting ourselves up. We can see a plan. I always say that and it's sad, Neal, because we thought that the ship of the Tigers was started this year or whatever. From everything we heard, it's still sitting in the dock. Right? Everybody else is out there, though. The Holmes boat, the Weaver boat, the Yzerman boat, they're all out on the waters at different spots. So I think it's just having guy that you can trust.
Yeah.
And the fact that you mentioned it. Like, let's take the personal feelings out of it, but what is Jerami Grant as a player? And when you got back what you got back because of what it allowed you to open up.
Yeah.
I read in the chat, and I'm going to take it, but $55 million to be able to use towards your cap, like the money you don't have to spend on Grant and all this stuff, it gives you options to set it up. So my question to you, right? Keegan Murray lover here in the booth and Sammy Flannel from day one, does it put him more at play here at 5, or where you sit? I'm not going to hold your feet to the fire about your pick until like tonight when you're doing a watch party. But is that a high possibility, and would you see him fitting in? And obviously, when you're trying to replace that role of Jerami Grant,
yeah, you could argue it's more of a fit now. But I think Troy Weaver said it best at his press conference: like, whoever we take in the draft doesn't affect what we do in free agency, and he had to assume that he was going to trade Jerami Grant. So I don't think it changes much. I think Jaden Ivey could still very well be in play, regardless if they traded Grant or not. But certainly, like, you're losing a veteran. That's what I look at. They're going to have to recoup that somehow, because he's also said he doesn't want a team full of young guys. So you trade away your quote-unquote veteran. But again, we talked about this yesterday, Neal, with Jerami Grant and his value. Like, whoever you take at 5, it's still, you're going to have to make up 20 points per game with Jerami Grant. So I really got to wait till free agency to see what they do. I know they're already pursuing Miles Bridges and DeAndre Ayton, so they have that much more flexibility. They have a second-round pick. They can trade back into the first round, which is going to be even more interesting. That's why I can't wait for tonight. But even more so in the season, in next offseason, you have assets to go and get whoever's available. So, man, if you have a good GM, the number one thing you want is flexibility. Like, guys, you can have great GMs, but if they're
the ability to get into the mix on anything.
Right. You can't have you can have a great GM, but if he has handcuffs on and he doesn't have the ability to go do what Troy Weaver's now doing, it's tough. Like, you can we talk about Joe Dumars all the time. Like, that's a guy who had his handcuffs. You know, he had one off season. People can criticize who he signed, but now Troy Weaver has $56, you mentioned it, $1 million. That's a lot of money. And that's before signing anybody in free agency.
And people got to realize this is the first year of the rebuild.
Yes.
Like, it took the tear down, and now we got Cade Cunningham. We have the rebuild started. So this season is the second year of the rebuild. Last year was the first year. So we still have to figure out what we're building this team to. Obviously, we have that foundation in Saddiq Bey and Cade Cunningham of what we're going to build up to be, but we still need to make a decision on how we want this team to look. So with this flexibility, it's really important because he can go a ton of different routes on how he wants. I heard he's a big fan of Jalen Duren. Troy Weaver's one of his biggest fans in the NBA. So is he going to, like you said, take that Gordon Hayward body, get that pick, and end up grabbing Jalen Duren with that? So we can see there's still, this isn't going to be the only move.
Yeah.
You're going to end up seeing this trade's going to be we gave up Jerami Grant. We got either another first-round pick this year and the 2025 pick, or we ended up with Miles Bridges and that 2025 pick for Jerami Grant in the long run. So,
and here's something, too, that can blow everybody's mind. You have the cap space even 2 years down the road. If you want DeAndre Ayton and Miles Bridges, you got the firepower to be able to do. You do.
Yeah.
They can make moves. I mean, they could change this on July 1st, man. They could change this thing overnight.
Yeah.
Not NBA title overnight, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah, like change the fortunes of the franchise.
Yeah, well, man, the only thing that I know that is more secure than what Troy Weaver has done or is going to do is Guardian Alarm. Yes, Guardian Alarm to keep you safe and give you peace of mind 24 hours a day. Whether you're on the road, you're at home, you know, right from your phone. You can control all your temperatures. It's hot. I want to make sure those pets are cool. Turn that AC on, turn the lights off. Whatever you need. Yes, Guardian Alarm, your local security experts will keep you safe. So if you want to be part of the Big D Energy Woodward Sports Network family, please give them a call. It's 1-800.
Stay out.
That's 1-800.
Stay out.
82 straight days protecting the flannel. You too can have whatever you need protected by Guardian Alarm, but give them a call today. 1-800.
Stay out.
Keegan
Get
Murray.
out
No
of
role plays
my
at number
house.
5. We need a star.
I love Keegan Murray.
Guardian Alarm, your local security experts. Tell them Big D Energy sent you.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Kroger's. And if you want to know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You can get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
Neal Ruhl here for Chili Peppers Tanning, where you can join the Pepper Club and get access to all the best deals. Take a look at all your unlimited tanning options as well. They'll beat all competitors' prices by at least $5. They have the hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, and the darkest tans at Chili Peppers Tanning. 26 locations. More on the way. Go to chilipepperstanning.com. Find out which one works best for you. It's Chili Peppers Tanning. Back at it. NBA Draft Thursday. Neal Ruhl, D-Mac, Darren, McCarty, Jeff Iafrate from our whole Woodward Pistons operation here in the building as well. They'll be live streaming tonight on Woodward Sports. We got Sam Flannel, Spencer Raxter. Give everybody these draft shows that we've been doing are out of control.
Yes.
I mean, just absolutely out of control. The viewers, the engagement, all that stuff. What time you guys going on?
30 minutes before the draft, we'll be live. We'll be live probably another 30, 40 minutes into the draft. Assuming Troy doesn't trade back in. If he trades back in, we're sticking up. We're still going live. But it's going to be a great show. We got a lot of guests planned. Terry Foster. We have Sean Court from Detroit Bad Boys coming in. And I believe Rod Beard from the Detroit News. So we got a lot of people coming in to make appearances. So I'm excited. The lottery show was also it was a success. But let's be honest, the draft, the hopium, everybody loves tuning in.
Oh,
so I'm excited. Line it up.
Woodward Sports has all the hits for you. That's available. That's available tonight. Francis said Jerami Grant is like a lesser Iverson or Jeff George. I get mine, but who cares if the team wins? I don't think that's very fair with Jerami Grant.
No, that's.
I mean, the reason that perception is because he was the only guy that they had, so he had to be the I gotta go get mine because no one else out here getting none.
That was his role,
right?
That's what he came in here to prove that he could be a number one, to prove he could be that guy on a terrible team, like D-Mac said, because there was nobody else here.
Well, and that goes into the whole what do people want from the dude? Like, you're going to go to the Bucks and be the number one guy? No,
no.
Yeah.
Is a contending team going to bring you on to be a number one guy? No. Like that was a business decision he made where he bet on himself, and guess what? Looks like he won because he's going to get $30+ million a year.
Yeah.
So good for him. You know, I mean, but and he's always been cool to me. He's always been cool to us. He's come on this station before.
Absolutely.
I've got not one negative word to say. Dude pumped in 20 a game.
You don't see that often.
No, like
in
that's
Detroit.
Yeah, I mean,
dude,
that's it.
With his mouth shut. You know what I mean? He did it the right way.
Yeah, you remember that time Jerami Grant was a problem? Neither do I.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I mean, I wish he'd been a little more healthy and played more games. I really would have liked to see an extended run of him and Cade together.
That's a different conversation, right? That's hindsight to the conversation. If they were healthy and they did get something to play, would we be even having this conversation? Because you would know that there's that continuity. So, it's one of those things that, you know what, appreciated the time that he spent here, but you wish him the best. I hope he goes and gets his money, and I hope that he is a number 3 guy on a championship team someday.
And that was Troy's guy too. Like, you got to think, like, it was his signing. He brought Jerami Grant in. He had his 2 career seasons, and you could tell he wanted to take care of him. Like, he sent him to Portland. That's where he wanted to go. That Damian Lillard wanted him to go to Portland. So you could tell. I mean, Troy respects Jerami like a lot. Like, there's people think could throw him out to be like some garbage player. The guy put up 20 a game on a team that wasn't winning, but still, like, that's what his role. That's what he was asked to do. So kudos to Jerami, man. I'm happy for him. Now he gets to go to Portland, team up with Damian Lillard. So it's good news. This
one comes from Beef in a truck on his way to Oscoda to play golf. This is pretty good. But these are the types of things you get now, though. And I do love these. Kevin Durant's not going to want to play there without Kyrie. You're in a position now with the cap space to maybe give up some draft capital. It seems Durant and Cunningham have become pretty chummy over the last year, which is true.
Yeah,
they do have a bit of a bromance going on right now. Not to the level Braylon Edwards and I have a bromance going on, but not to that level.
You guys are actually like gross.
Yeah, not to that level, but they are getting pretty close. And look, it's kind of a bit tongue-in-cheek, but you said, but it does let Durant extend his career by a few years. He doesn't have to be like the main ball handler or stuff like that. But,
tongue in cheek, top of my head, do it.
No, but you know what though?
You bring that up, and there's no like.
You
okay.
have the ability to do something
All
like
right.
that.
Right.
I'd get a KD jersey. Just
You know,
because here's the thing. No, immediately because what do I immediately think? Right? How's he going to affect Cade Cunningham? And if it's where the youth, it could only, in my opinion, circumvent and move you fast forward quicker with everybody else because of what it would develop. And now, in order for that to happen, he'd have to be all in. That's what I'm going by 100% all in KD because that's the only way that it would happen. But you know what, Neal? I mean, if there's, I'll throw $10 on it. You know what I mean? Whatever the odds are, KD coming to Detroit, just because I don't think it'd be a bad idea. I think that that'd be cool, and I think chemistry-wise, it might work. Because of everything that you're saying. So, like. That's intriguing. I don't think it's going to happen, but I mean, I'd be all for it. Would you, Juice?
Oh, absolutely. And what you just said is why we won the trade. Like what you just, because you can have these conversations. Is KD coming to Detroit? A flexibility. This is what happens when you create cap space. You have a young, attractive, core. You're building the right way. It allows us to be in these conversations. Like you can be in the DeAndre Ayton conversation, the Miles Bridges, the Kevin Durant's. So. Yeah, I agree with you. I would love KD. I don't know the chances of it, but I could tell he's looking over from a distance, like a lot of people.
He always looking over the fence.
He's saying,
he always looking at that grass is green.
Absolutely.
Come on over here. We got some green grass in the deep.
Somebody asked earlier too. Like, I don't think anybody's reported the full details of the trade, and yet they have been out there. There was Woj tweets yesterday where he talked about the 2025 first round pick via Milwaukee that is protected, numbers 1 through 4. Detroit sent Jerami Grant a $21 million trade exception, and of course now the Pistons have $43 million in cap space. There was a flop of second-round picks tonight, as a matter of fact. So the Pistons move, I want to say 36 from 46.
Yep.
I want to say that's what it is. The Pistons bumped up 10 spots, so they get that pick. The Blazers got the Pistons' second-round pick this year. And then there are 2 future seconds that the Pistons will get, but I believe they have to convey before they get them. There are stipulations on them.
Yep.
So, that is officially on the books what they have as of right now. So, those future seconds, I believe they have to convey. This is something, though, where the NBA, and people ask me a lot about soccer all the time, and they ask me about MLS and all this kind of stuff. The MLS has the most confusing salary cap that's not a cap, that is a cap, that has separate target allocation money, general allocation money. You can trade picks for allocation money. You can trade picks for designated player spots that you can sign people from outside. It's wild.
What's the top MLS guy make? Or what would be their like? Or what's the
if you go get one of the European guys, you know what I'm saying?
What's the cap?
Like when Beckham was here, he was in that 15-ish million. But
they can make 15 million.
Yeah, but that's a separate case, and that's a designated player,
I get
and you
it,
can
though.
go above the cap. Like, it's really weird. But
are
basketball
guys making millions of dollars. Like,
yeah,
the top guys.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
no doubt.
So
well, that was the thing. Like when Detroit City FC played Columbus at Keyworth, and they're like, well, that was Columbus's B team or whatever. Jazzy Zardes was playing, dude. That dude made $6 million in the last 2 years in the MLS. Like, it wasn't a joke. It wasn't a joke to him.
I guess it's just getting the understanding that MLS is like the guys are making $3, $4, $5 million. Top players
definitely.
And stuff like that, so they're getting paid.
Definitely, but the NBA, the trade exceptions are a little muddy. But then you start to get into bird rights and early bird rights and all that kind of, and draft picks conveying. Nobody seems to understand that. You can't technically trade a pick. You own, like the Pistons own that future second, but they don't own it until it conveys. Just like the 2025 pick. And I haven't heard what say the Bucks do end up picking to. What are the protections? Do they get the next year's first unprotected? Are they just gambling with it here? Like, I don't know what those are. Those details, like the geeky details, haven't been put out there yet. Right. But that's the way it works. It is kind of confusing.
I think that the kicker to me, Neal, is when you're going through teams and what they still have on the books, and you're naming guys from like 5 years ago, or guys that, wait, he's on that team? I didn't know he was there. Like as far as, so to what our conversation is about trading contracts and trading guys and moving the money around like that, like guys will get their money, but it's just where, oh, okay, Derrick Rose, okay, his money's over in Boston this time. Wait, I thought he was over in Chicago.
Yeah.
No, he was in New York, but he was in, you know, so they use that, and you don't know who's carrying the whole load for the salary wise, right? So they move that around. What is it? You said the Bird picks and stuff. Larry Bird.
The Bird
is
rights, yeah.
The Bird rights, or the like Larry Bird rights.
Yeah, that's where you can. Cade Cunningham will probably be like a Birds rights guy coming up, where you can go over the cap to keep your guy.
So that I was saying that earlier, like in the NBA, like with Giannis or whatever. If it's your talent that you've drafted and procured, then you have different rights to be able to keep them,
and you can offer more money.
Yeah.
Right.
The NBA rewards that. Rewards players for staying, teams for staying.
So again,
it's a bit wacky.
It's more NCAA as everything comes back to being confusing like the NCAA.
We do have Jeff Iafrate here with us, so he will be on the NBA Draft Show tonight on Woodward Sports 7:30. They will go on the air, and you need to tap into those, man. They've been wildly popular. I'll be watching it. There is no question about that. But here's the deal, and there's a couple questions for you in here.
Okay.
The first one I want to get to. Brandon says Detroit did not win this trade. They sat on Grant for 2 years and got a late first-round pick that likely will have little to no value. It's a smart move not to sign Grant, but they didn't win this trade, and I don't understand how both of those things can be true.
Yeah, I don't even know how you can declare a winner yet. Like, if you want to look at what Troy Weaver was able to do, you opened up, more cap space. Now you have more assets. Like, if they end up doing something with all this money, or you make another trade with the assets, I would consider that winning the trade. Like, you can't, if you want to look at it at face value, Jerami for a future first, and you don't like it, okay, declare Portland the winner. But this trade is incomplete. Like, you don't know what they're going to do with all that money.
And I hate too. Was Jerami Grant in the trade talks 2 years ago? You know what I'm saying? Of course, guys' value years before is more than when. Like, come on, man. Like, you can't say that because it was a different position. He was just in charge of carrying this losing team 2 years ago as Troy Weaver's guy. So I agree with you, Jeff. The fact you can't
even
rate it yet. But here's the thing: why wouldn't you look at it from your point of view? And you don't care. You're looking at your win side of view, and the fact that we're having these conversations about anybody in the league because it could be a possibility. To me, that's a different situation, and that's winning going into the draft.
Well, my thing of it is, it's a smart move not to sign Grant. ... They didn't win the trade. Well, then, what are you going to do with them? Are you going to lose them for nothing? Like, I don't get the purpose behind that. I do, however, understand the purpose of going to the buffet at Big Boy, and it is back, baby. 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. every weekend at participating Big Boy locations. Yeah, they still got the classics, the Slim Jim, the Dolly Chicken Sandwich. Of course, they have the original Big Boy as well. Find your nearest Big Boy location. Go to bigboy.com. It is a Detroit institution.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991. Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play. And before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Make sure you're listening to Woodward Sports all day long. Start your morning with the Morning Woodward Show. Spend middays with Big D Energy. Watch and listen your drive home with the Bottom Line. And don't forget about Woodward Bets Daily. All live, all right here on the Woodward Sports Network.
We're back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Avi, we're going NBA deep here. It is NBA Draft Day. Pistons made a huge deal yesterday. D-Mac, Darren, McCarty. My name is Neal Ruhl. We got Jeff Iafrate from the Woodward Pistons outfit. They'll be live tonight at 7:30. Make sure you tap in. It's going to be Piston-centric the whole night long, so it's everything that you want. And we're going to get into the draft in just a couple of minutes, but there are, again, as I said, there's questions for you out here. Zachary Payne says, if Detroit signs a free agent, who would fit better, Bridges or Ayton? And who would you want more, Jeff? But we can have these discussions. You can get them both if you want.
Hey, we can start rumors for everybody. Hey, did you know that this guy and the owner's wife of this place might have allegedly... Troy Weaver, get your phone, room. Hey, what's up?
You do have the flexibility, though.
Wait, Golden State. Oh, hello.
No, you could do that. In between those two guys, I'm not really a big Miles Bridges guy. And
Spencer, do you want to bare knuckles box him right now, or should we wait?
No, it's all right.
I really like that's. If you look at Miles Bridges, would you pay $30 million to Miles Bridges? Like in listening to a breakout season, it's a good player. I just don't want to pay for a player like what's Miles Bridges' ceiling? Can he be the leading scorer on our team and take us to new heights, or is he a younger?
Or is he Jerami Grant?
Bingo. But again, in the post came out with Miles Bridges in the offseason. Posting on his Instagram story, he had a double cup of lean.
Hey,
he had
pink lemonade.
Yeah, it might have been pink lemonade. But
that's what I would have said.
That's what he said.
I don't want to, stain the culture, and I don't know if he's going to come in and stain it. But everybody in Detroit on the Pistons loves basketball. They love to. This is all what everything's about is getting better, improving. For Miles Bridges, I just have some question marks, and if I have question marks, I immediately am not paying you $30 million. Like I'm not going to pay you with question marks and assume it'll just work out. I would sign DeAndre Ayton because I know what I'm getting. He's coming to work. I know there's questions about him playing video games, which is ridiculous because the kid's like 23 years old. But still, you're getting a guy that's going to come in.
He's playing Red Dead Redemption 2.
That's
We're
what
all
I'm saying.
good.
I mean, name a lot of players that play.
Now, if you were going to tell me, he's playing Smash Bros. Or something.
Yeah, now I got an issue.
Yeah.
Whoa.
No, I'm joking.
I'm joking.
Come on, we're all joking. We're gonna have a Woodward Sports Smash Brothers game.
But I will say, in terms of fitting a need, it's DeAndre Ayton. Like this team last year was bottom of the league in points in the paint. I mean, they gave up points in the paint. Like they have no size, shot blocking. I mean, interior scoring. So DeAndre Ayton fills the mold. I'd probably pay DeAndre.
Well, I think the question more too is because you can do this in steps. What's the next step?
Right.
What do you need first? Right, you can't build the upstairs until the downstairs walls are put up. Right, what are you going to put? And to your point, Ayton, and so you wouldn't be worried as much about Ayton for the money you're going to pay him as far as what Bridges is going to get. And if you saw another year out of Bridges and the consistency, then that's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
You're just not sure that if he can consistently do it.
That's bingo right there. And right now, you just spent all this time clearing cap space. I don't want to
do it again. It makes sense, and I'm sure that's one thing that Troy Weaver, he just cleaned the house. He just got the house spick and spot clean. I know when Mama cleans the house,
squeaky clean.
You're not allowed to go in it for a while.
Don't wear your shoes.
You know
inside.
what I mean? No, get lost, go out, honeydew list time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it makes sense. But again, the biggest part is that no matter what phone call comes, Troy Weaver is going to be there. He's going to be busy today too. And do you expect maybe something else to go on? And it's more of what I look for too is other teams initiating now. Mm-hmm. We took Jerami Grant was the one guy that we had to do the due diligence, figure out whether we're going to pay him, not pay him, and that's done. Now I think that with the salary cap open, to Neal's point as always, is that hey, you know what, give Detroit a call, maybe they'll take some of our money, maybe it'll work it out. And Troy Weaver's the guy sitting there, okay, yeah, this is what it'll cost.
Yeah, Troy Weaver, he's a deal maker. I mean, that's what I've took away from, especially not last year's draft, but the year prior. Troy's going to try and get a deal done.
Does this move right here? Is this maybe that's just what it is? It's maybe not the stamp, but it's the soft press in of Troy Weaver's mark.
Oh yeah.
On even more so, right? Because Cade being getting the first pick and not messing that one up, but it's sort of put this team together. And then when you look at what he's got rid of salary cap wise, but this was a big Neal, wasn't it? As far as franchise wise, with Jerami Grant, from what he did, with which way you were going to go, because he could have easily re-signed him. He could have done easily other things.
I think it's similar to Yzerman with Mo Sider winning the Calder, where this is now Troy Weaver's team because it's been flushed. And I forget who brought that up earlier, if it was Spencer or it's where this is his creation now. You know what I'm saying? Like
so we're
the
saying,
Blake Griffin's off the books.
Is LCA both the Troy Weaver and Steve Yzerman at the
it's theirs
line?
now.
It's theirs.
Because, again, Sider was his first draft pick. Boom, rookie of the year. You know, Zadina was already there when he got there. So, you know, it's one of those things where, again, and we're seeing this. We keep cross comparing this, but it's accurate, man, because with Brad Holmes and everything that's going on there with the Lions, they are not to where Troy Weaver is or where Steve Yzerman is now. They're not to that exit on the highway yet. They're going up north,
but aren't they?
But they're not even to Flint yet.
But seriously though, in saying that, with the contracts that could come off after the end of the clock, when the clock runs out after the end of next year, he could be really close behind, right?
Sure. Absolutely.
Close behind. That when the clock expires, when the Lions clock expires, you know, it's looking more and more that it's game on and game on for all three of those teams.
Yeah. So what about the draft tonight then, Jeff? As we talked about, you guys are doing the draft show. You'll be on the air at 7:30 here on Woodward Sports. And just judging by the interaction we're seeing on socials and viewership and all that stuff, people are hyped. Hopium sells. It's undefeated, man. Blue Magic, Pistons Blue Magic will be hitting the streets here today. Make sure you get that envelope, the Blue Magic stamp on it. But what about this draft tonight? I talked about it. Some of the betting lines I've seen, Keegan Murray now pretty much an even money, slight plus money favorite to be the number 5 pick. I'm Team Benedict Mathurin. I love to see all the hype. And our guy at Motor City Hoops on Twitter, Bryce Simon that we talked to, he got me on the Benedict Mathurin train, and I can't get off now. But I mean, what about it? How do you see this shaping out tonight?
I think the X factor is 4. I really do, and that's why Keegan Murray's a betting favorite, because they assume Jay Navy's going to go 4. A lot of the NBA speculating that. Vegas always knows something, and the New York Knicks are inquiring about it. They've already offered a haul for the 4th pick. If Sacramento trades that pick, Jay Navy's gone, and in that case, it's Keegan or Benedict to me. And if Keegan's taken, I'll be okay with it. I'm just a big upside guy, and I feel like Benedict and Jay Nivey have higher upsides. So that's why I would make the argument for both those guys. But Keegan Murray's in the conversation. It's a 3-man race to me. It's Jay Nivey, he's there, Benedict Mathurin, and Keegan Murray. I don't see any other selection at number 5. I really don't. It just depends what the Kings do at 4. That's the big domino to fall.
And isn't that the Kings? Are the Kings going to king?
100%.
Are you excited because the Kings have the 4th pick?
You bet.
You guys must be talking about that tonight just because you don't know that could be, the misnomer of the draft. So I'm with you, as far as Benedict Cumberbatch Mathurin. That's my guy. I'm just going to call him Cumberbatch the whole time. But I like what he presents. But it'll be interesting. But at the end of the day, you're going to get a good player. Right. And the bottom line is it doesn't matter what I like. It's what Troy Weaver likes.
Bingo.
But here's the deal. Like, Ivy, they've taken guards with their last 100 consecutive drafts. There's no way they take Jaden Ivey, right? But they're the Kings. and they probably will. Yeah. And you guys know me. Like, I'm not as high on Jaden Ivey as a lot of other people are. And people are talking about Mathurin's size. I'm looking for a 2. I'm looking for a 3D2.
You're looking for a bucket. You're looking
put
for
the ball through the net. Like when the I just want somebody. I just want somebody when the ball leaves their hand on the basketball court and it goes up in the air, it goes through the net.
I'm adding points.
That's all I want.
You said we want 110 to 120 points a game. Yeah. How am I adding that up? I need
That's
a guy
all I want.
that
I
can
want
bucket.
somebody
We just lost 20. We need 20 or something.
When they catch it and they shoot it, when it leaves their hand, it goes through the net at a high clip.
There's a
That's
guy
all I
in
want.
Golden State that just won his 4th championship that hasn't dribbled since middle school.
That's all I want.
One word: what the Pistons need: talent. Like, go get talent. If you think Keegan Murray can be, if Troy believes Keegan Murray can be that guy, then go get him. But to me, I'm not an NBA scout, but I like Benedict. I like Jay Ivey. Those two are guys that can be, in my opinion, 20-point per game scorers. I think they can do that. So that's who my selection is. But again, the Kings, and I did a little mock draft myself. I have the Kings staying put and taking Keegan Murray. It makes the most sense, but who knows, man? Like, the Kings just took Davion Mitchell. Do you think they sat down and interviewed with Davion Mitchell? No. So
they didn't
could
even
take
work him out.
They didn't work out anybody, like what I heard.
They didn't. So they didn't work out Jaden Ivey. That he could still very well be taken at 4. Who knows?
The only people that worked out Jaden Ivey were the Pistons in Orlando. Those were the only people that brought him in for a workout.
The Kings.
He said, if I'm not going 1, I'm going 5.
Francis says they're going up north, but they're not even to Flint yet. I love these expressions that only Michiganders will know. It makes me miss the mitten a little bit. Well, not the fish flies or the humidity. Well, that's a fair point. Yeah, and the Pistons they're to Flint, right? They're at that little where 23 and 75 merge, and you hit that little traffic jam on Fridays. That's where they are right now.
The one where tomorrow, if you're heading up north, you don't want to be there. And I loved it in the chat where people that are from Michigan going, "Oh man, Neal, that is such a Michigan. I miss the Mitten State," or whatever the analogy. Put it this way: anywhere about an hour out of the city where bottlenecks for 10, it's 3 miles and it takes you an hour to get through. That's what he's talking about.
All right, Jeff, you got one more in you. So we can. I want to do the general draft thing. We're not going to spend a ton of time on it. I'll let you get on your way. I just want to talk about the top of the draft. It is NBA draft night, man.
Yes, it is.
What are we doing here? Yeah, and it's just like the Red Wings. The Red Wings are approaching the Zilwaukee Bridge.
Zilwaukee Bridge.
They might be over the Zilwaukee Bridge now, like just over it. And the Pistons, I think, are they're past. They're past Frankenmuth. They're a Bertrand.
They're allowed to load up. Oh, yeah. I mean, carb load.
Spencer, where do you put Tony's in the pantheon of it?
Ooh, Tony's is up there, man.
Tony's in my top 5 all time.
It's up there for sure.
Do you eat all the bacon that comes with the meal?
You watched them just destroy the waffles at Big Boy. We didn't even have waffles left in Brighton for 3 weeks.
That's a one-sitting BLT at Tony's.
You got to get the BLT, dude, because the half a pound of bacon that sits in the empty carton for the ride home.
That's a bold statement. I don't want people to gloss over what you just said there.
Oh, hey man,
you're gonna chase that with the banana split there.
Oh yeah. Give me a cup of coffee halfway through, I'll be ready to go.
You would not eat a whole banana split from Tony.
No, probably not.
Okay,
especially not after the BLT.
Good Lord.
But I try my best.
What a man.
I ain't going out no quitter. Mama ain't raised a quitter.
All right. Hey, the NBA draft this night. We've been talking about it for the whole first hour here. Want to get down on it in some way, shape, or form? MyBookie.com is the play. Stanley Cup Finals. They'll be around for a little while longer. Baseball is a midseason as well. No better place to get that action down than MyBookie.com. When you open up a new account, use the promo code Woodward. They'll match part of your first deposit up to 50% in free bets. So there you have it, everyone. The Chet Holmgren thing. You got a feeling on it? Some people are talking about it. Think he'll end up with the Pistons? Use some of those free bets on it. Go ahead and do it. Bet on anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Have a problem with gambling? Call the Michigan Gambling Hotline, 1-800-270-7117.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risks, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Ribbit, Big Frog here. D-Max style. When you need apparel, there's only one place to go. That's Big Frog in Novi. With no setup fees, no artwork fees, no minimum, and a 24-hour, yes, a one-day turnaround. You can have your whole team outfitted in no time, whether it's embroidery, direct-to-garment, vinyl, even screen printing. Big Frog has the styles you want. So visit bigfrog.com/Novi or call 844-4BIG-FROG. That's 844-4BIG-FROG. Bigfrog.com/Novi. Tell them Big D Energy sent you.
Back at it, pulling up on the second hour of the show. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal, Ruhl, D-Mac, Darren, McCarty. We got Jeff Iafrate from the Pistons Woodward squad that will be live. Juicy J here in the house. Hair luxurious, but it's draft day, so he's got a Pistons hat on. So you know how that works. We got Sam Flannel. Speaking of luxurious, we have Spencer Raxter as well. Luxurious hair. Luxurious, Spencer.
Luxurious.
Didn't have the AC going yesterday. AC's out at the house.
Man.
I bet that hair wasn't as luxurious last night.
It pops up.
How was the basement?
Basement was great. Yeah, basement
cool?
was cool. I sat in my car for a couple hours, had the AC going in the car.
You got a gift from the gods, too. Like,
Yes.
right around 7 o'clock, that wind shifted, started coming out of the north, and it cooled down 10 degrees like that.
It was beautiful, and I hope it stays like that. They're supposed to come out and fix it today, but, man, no AC yesterday when it was like 93 out. I was dying in there. I threw the pup in the car, and we sat in there with the AC on for a little bit, and then I chilled in the basement for most of the day until, like you said, it turned around and got a little cooler out.
On the YouTube chat poll right now, Spencer's got it up there. Who do you want the Pistons to draft? We got the four most likely scenarios up there. Jaden Ivey at 57% of the vote. Benedict Mathurin at 22%. Keegan Murray 11%. Shaden Sharp at 10. But Jeff, before we let you go here, I did want to talk about the NBA draft, just in its entirety right now. Let's go very basic.
Yep.
After this draft is over and after these players all play their careers, who was the dude that came out of this draft?
I'm a Jabari Smith guy because before we knew the Pistons were getting the 5th overall pick, but now looking at it, I think Paulo Banchero. I think he's going to be the best player. I love Jabari because of the fit, but you don't. I mean, 6'10" guys that can handle the ball, make plays for others, and score at will. Like
special.
That's special, man. And people have questions about his, defensive, just his intensity, but that stuff can be coached. That stuff can be worked on. I mean, physically, he's got all the tools. So I'd probably say Paulo Banchero. I mean, he goes under the radar a little bit. I know he's projected 3rd, but he could very well be the best player in the draft.
And that's where I was. And some of the things I saw, and look, the NCAA tournament's not the be-all, end-all, determiner of where a guy should get drafted. I understand that.
Right.
But when their feet were in the fire, who took over the game? And then when I watched Purdue play St. Peter's, when their feet were in the fire, who didn't take over the game? You know what I'm saying? And not like he didn't, shots just weren't falling for him and it just was St. Peter's day. Like, you had to look for Jaden Ivey out there on the court. To whereas with Banchero, give me the ball.
Yeah, that's what you look for.
And we saw it intimately here, right, Spencer? I mean, we got a very, very good look at it here, as did you.
Yeah.
And I go to you, being a Spartan fan and seeing how it all went down. When you watched him play, did you say, wow, we're powerless against this dude coming down the stretch?
Oh, for sure. He, like you said, he's the guy that took over the game. He's the guy that asserted his dominance, said, I'm the star player out there. I'm going to make these plays. We're going to win that game. And, yeah, it helped when Duke had, maybe they got 5 guys going in the first round. Like, that's going to be insane if they do. But Banchero was obvious that he was the best player on the floor. It was obvious that he knew he was the best player on the floor, and he went out there and he put in work when it mattered most. And yeah, like people talk about his defense might not be as good as Jabari's or Chet's, but like Jeff said, when you got a guy that's 6'10", that can go out there, he can take it off the dribble, he can shoot from 3, he can score in the mid-range, it's hard not to say he's going to be a force in the NBA.
I think you bring up a great point, right? Because when I'm listening to you guys talk or whatever, it's the same, and I'm not even taking the basketball acumen to it, but it's the leadership and that it factor. When you describe watching Cade Cunningham at Oklahoma State when you're covering a Grizzlies game,
I knew.
Saying you just know there's some guys that that sort of have the it factor.
It was Cade with the body too.
That was a big thing for me with LeBron. The eyeball test is so, and whether on TV or whatever, but you see, because we all watch it with our own preferences. It's like we see life or whatever, our perceptions. So when we see that, it's like sometimes we don't know what we're seeing, but that's the it.
Right. Because like when Cade came out, when we played at Oklahoma State, when Cade came out for shoot around, they have like the shooting jackets on and all that kind of stuff. Like, and you're watching them, but they're just
boys in that.
No, it wasn't so much that, but when they came out to center court for the jump ball, and he's got the jersey on, and like the back of the shoulders are making the two stretch, on the back. Like there's this big lump where the two shoulders are, and then there's this big stretch across on the two.
His muscles had muscles.
Dude, yeah, but like for real. I mean, like I was like, damn.
Right.
And that was the thing too. Like even back in the day with LeBron, and you know how this stuff works. Like there's always half the camp says he's going to be a bust, half the camp says he's going to be great.
Always.
You can't hide. The body's the body, man, and that's where it was with me with Cade. That's how I knew. And then to see him work his way through a basketball game and do whatever the situation dictated, and obviously it helped. I called the game, so I was very intimately aware as to what he was doing. But for me, Jeff, I do want to ask you about this one too, because this seems to be like the national sticking point when people talk about it. Chet Holmgren. Your thoughts?
I like Chet. I think the only question mark I have about Chet, and it sounds so basic, but it's the weight, and it's not the weight, because I'm worried about, facing other defenders in the NBA. I'm worried about health. Can you stay healthy for an 82-game season against grown men? That's the only concern I have. That's why I have him going to Oklahoma City Thunder. I think that's the best fit for him. He gets to play with two playmakers. It'll get him a lot of easy shots. But with Chet, he's got the highest upside, but again, like, he's not going one because the GM's not putting that on his resume, whether he works out or not. I mean, if you take Chet number one and you want to keep your job and he didn't work out, and you have Paolo Banchero and Jabari Smith right after you, and they're both all-stars.
Yeah, but Jeff, you know how this is and how this goes, and if you don't, you will soon after you spend some years in this game. At times, the forbidden fruit, the draw of the forbidden fruit is so strong that you can't even protect GMs from themselves, man. Like that's and it is. Chet is amazing to me. Am I taking him?
Darko?
I mean, there's a little bit to it, but see, it's like Darko with rim protect. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a rim protector, D-man.
What I'm saying is a forbidden fruit to whatever else is that you won't know. I would put Darko in that class of when he was selected.
Yeah, but think about Darko, but with the ability to block shots, and he can help you clean up defensively.
I'm talking about this could be a Darko situation where somebody knows more than you know, because what Neal's talking about is I'm the smartest guy in the room. And we witnessed this here with our football team in the wrong place years ago. Wrong guys picking at the top. So I agree with you because you don't want that when you have pretty much Jabari Smith and Paulo are blue chip sort of all-stars down the road, right? You know what you're going to sort of get with them. So.
And I think, too, with Chet, like you mentioned it, the floor is still high, I think, with Chet. Like, if he might not be a 25 and 12 guy, but if he's getting you 18 and 12 and 3.5 blocks.
He can block shots.
And he can shoot from three.
He can clean a lot of things up for you, defend, and no one's talking about that.
See, what I'm hearing about him, it's his physical. Can he take... You're wondering, the question is not can he hit a three, not can he block a shot, it's can he stay healthy?
Can he take the pounding?
Does he have the framework, right? So that's something as like the development. I was just thinking he needs to play for the Flint Tropics, be near Birch Run, have Tony's bacon every day, he'd be fine. But he needs to bulk up, and there's medical concerns with him, not talent or what he could do. But if he does fill out, there you go.
Scary.
You could be because on the opposite of that, you take him number one and he turns out to be the end all be all. You're the smartest guy in the room.
Right. And I'm not underrating him because he's going two to me. So it's like he might not go one, but he's going two. So he's a damn good player.
Two, you get away with it because you're not going to get hamstrung if he doesn't work out.
And here's an interesting point too. Dad with Tourette's brings this up. My issue with everyone's Chet issue is, from what we know, he's never missed a game, never missed a high school game, AAU game, never missed a college game. So he is out there, and I think what makes him such a high pick. You talked about that floor that he has. There is he is a shot blocker in this league.
Shoot,
off the pick and roll. He gets in a mismatch. He can kind of save you a little bit. And I'll put you on the spot here, Jeff. Before we let you go, I appreciate all your time today, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you, brother.
Appreciate you guys.
Who do you not like? Who is being talked about more than you feel that their value is? Who is somebody where you think you're just kind of laying in wait to see which team takes them, which probably it'll be the Kings, and then you laugh and you point and you say, oh, that's so Kings going Kings? Or, I mean, is it Jabari Smith. I mean, who is the guy that's being overvalued by everybody?
I think the top 10, it's Keegan Murray to me. And I'm sorry, Sam, but Keegan Murray, like if you're selecting him in the top 10, he better be Jason Tatum. Like, can he be that great? That's my question. If he's a above average role player, you're taking him at 4 to 5. I mean, you failed.
See, and the scoring thing, everyone gets hooked into the scoring thing with the Iowa guys. Do you know the number of possessions they play college basketball games at? Yeah. They are so above everybody else, and somebody's got to score. Like, this was always my thing when I talked with people about Oakland basketball. They're like, you guys don't play any defense. We're playing at 85 possessions a game, man.
You're going.
Teams are going to get in the 80s.
Yeah.
Even if you hold them under a point of possession, they're still getting in the 80s. They're like, oh, you don't play any defense. Iowa, I think that works in reverse, where people overvalue their scoring ability because they play at so many possessions. Am I crazy here or not?
No, you're not. And another thing, too, he had a lot of success posting up smaller players at Iowa. Like, you're going to go into the NBA, you're not who are you posting up? Like, you're going to probably face grown men. Now, if you get mismatches, yes, that can work. But I think Keegan Murray is going to be a benefit to the offense he gets into. Like, if he goes to the Kings and you're playing off DeMontis Sabonis and Darren Fox, might be good for him. But if you're on the Pistons, I need you to create your own shot and keep this team afloat when Cade's off the floor. I don't think he can do that. So we'll see.
There he has it. 7:30 tonight, right? Woodward Sports.
Yes.
All right, there it is. Jeff Iafrate, our guy, man. Love rapping about the league with him and life in general. Get hair tips, whatever you want to do. Let me tell you about Planet Fitness. It's a home of the judgment-free zone where you can work out in a non-intimidating, judgment-free atmosphere. Membership starts at just $10 a month for access to your home club. Black card option out there as well, just $24.99 per month, less than $1 per day. Get you use of all the amenities, the massage chairs, a hydro massage, access to over 2,000 Planet Fitnesses around the world as well, with unlimited guest privileges. It's the play, everybody. I'm telling you, it's where I go work out. It is Planet Fitness, our studio sponsor here at Woodward Sports. Join today in club. You're going to pass a couple on the way home, or join online at www.planetfitness.com. It's Planet Fitness, Darren McCarty.
Where your fitness is essential.
6 dark corners, a driveway and a patio, 5 windows that could become doors. Every house has unique security challenges. Guardian Alarm has more tech, more team, and more ways to help keep them all safe. Get a professionally designed and installed security and smart home system from Guardian Alarm. Sign up today and get a free video device. Guardian Alarm. Smart, right from the start. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Hey, Scott from Woodward Bets. Hey, what a run we've been on lately. Man, I've been handing you guys fun coupons the last 8 out of 9 days in a row. Hey, we're going to get back to that winner here in a second. First, you guys got to make sure you join us today at 4:30 over at the Woodward Bets YouTube page. We're going to talk some NBA draft and some bets and all that kind of fun stuff, of course. And then also, you guys got to make sure you get over to that App Store and download oddstrader.com. It's got live scoring, play-by-play updates, and you can even track your bets right in the palm of your hand. Hey, you would know I've been absolutely on fire. But hey, let's get back to that best bet for here tonight. I'm going to roll with the under in this Baltimore and White Sox game. Both pitchers have been pitching pretty well. I think under 9 looks like a winner to me. Oddstrader.com. Woodward Bets. Check it out.
What's up, y'all? Our friends at Alta Equipment know that when it comes to getting your job completed on budget and on schedule, uptime matters. That's why Alta Equipment is partnered with the biggest names in construction. So if you have a big project coming up, Alta Rents has you covered. The most diverse rental fleet in Michigan. There's nothing your project can throw at you that Alta can't handle. So give them a call today, 844. Go to Alta. That's 844. Go to Alta today. Alta Equipment, where uptime matters.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal, Ruhl, D-Mac, Darren McCarty. Big thanks to Jeff Iafrate for pulling up on us here for the first hour of the show. It got deep in NBA draft talk, and why not? Everybody is excited, and we are too. And remember, Woodward Sports is your home, for your only true home for NBA draft coverage, certainly as it relates to the Pistons. They'll be on the air at 7:30, and who knows how long they'll go. Depends on what happens, because it's all on the table for Troy Weaver. He can do whatever.
He can answer every phone call.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Kevin Durant might be calling. You never know.
You never know. Absolutely. I did want to take a step back from the NBA draft to talk about this. The Tigers lost again yesterday.
What? Didn't you say that? You said that they were going to lose.
Yeah, but I didn't take it to the streets, and I knew I should have. And the Tigers were up 2-0, and I was going to pat myself on the back and say, Neal, you didn't fall for it.
2-0 with a hobby bias.
But on the flip side of the coin, the Red Sox at that time were plus 155.
Ooh, so you were setting it up.
So if you were, if you kind of lay out and wait, sometimes you can get the number you want. I'm just saying, you got to let it play out. You got to be like Jack Harlow sometimes. Sometimes just lay back and let it play out, right?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
That's a good reference. His Taco Bell deal, his KFC deal, whatever commercial he's.
But anyway, that's not the story. And the Tigers losing isn't the story. And Tarek Skubal struggling, giving up the big bomb. That's not the story. The story, I think, is pretty simple. And the story, for me, is nationally what we're starting to see come out about the Detroit Tigers. Ken Rosenthal, pretty influential guy, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty influential writer.
Absolutely.
Story came out in The Athletic yesterday where the headline is, "The Tigers' mess of a season is a consequences of multiple failings by the organization." And that's a great headline because, A, you don't have to read it here. We've been talking about it.
You know what the biggest stat that I heard with Ken's article, with people talking about and everything else, right? Since 2014, they don't have a drafted guy on the roster that's positive WAR, wins above replacement. Which, to have a positive wins above replacement means you're supposed to be an average baseball player, which means we can't even draft average baseball players. How's 2014, Neal? That's 8 years, right? That's 8 years. I'll let you go into the article even more, but we talked about it. Look at the ineptitude. Look at what we were talking about.
That's damning, by the way.
For the first hour with Troy Weaver, who's just here, and we talk about Steve Yzerman and everything else and where they're at on the road. Dude, if we started in Detroit and you made the analogies where the teams are in Flint or Zilwaukee Bridge or Birch Run or whatever, Avila's falling down into Florida. Into the water, stuff like this. But it's the trade. Look what Troy Weaver just did with Jerami Grant, making a decision, whatever that. It's opened up the conversations. This guy just gives guys away for nothing. We've gone through it enough or whatever like this. So now here's the imperativeness. So for all of us that have gone through this trauma and have known this thing and seen this for the past little bit and are willing to be aware of it, now the national media is going to get a hold of it, so we got to go through it all again even more. But maybe, is it going to matter? No, because I don't think it does matter. It's just the fact that you're a bigger laughing stock to the people that hadn't heard that baseball's something that they pick up this article that read Ken Rosenthal. It's so damaging. It's so blatant, in your face. Like, everything is in your face right now, right?
Absolutely.
It's almost like you have somebody trying to hang on. It's almost like you have everybody else watching this marriage from the outside with all these stats of not accomplishing anything, but you have the two people that are in the relationship thinking that, everything's hunky-dory. Yeah. Everything's hunky-dory. Wait till we build our house, District Detroit. Once the District Detroit and all that and stuff. It's the same thing. It's a bigger. To me. It's the focus and the small thing. The general manager of the Tigers is a bigger problem picture in that to what's going on in the organization. But at the end of the day, what does Ken say? At the end of the day, the cupboard's bare, guys. There's nothing down the road.
No, and the line. Here's the quote that really caught my eye from Ken Rosenthal's story in The Athletic. This is from Avila. This is Avila talking. Quote, "I'm as angry as anybody, more angry than anybody. We're all angry. We're all accountable, including the players. Right now, we're reevaluating and scrutinizing everything in the front office, player development, scouting, our staff, and our players. When this happens, it's not one person or one department or one player. This is team-wide." And you know what?
That sounds like me in the throes of my alcoholism. Telling you, I got it. Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm gonna quit. Yeah, oh yeah, we know. It's just a little bit drinking problem or whatever like this. The fact that I'm mad, I'm really mad. It's like abusive relationship. That is, I'm sorry for hitting you. Yeah,
We're pushing.
It's ridiculous. You're not mad at all. You don't care. Either that, come out and say that I'm completely handcuffed and I'm so mad or whatever like this that I can't do anything. That's even more. That's more of a slap to my face as a Tigers fan. Way to go, Al.
And that.
Gosh darn it.
D-Mac.
Can I get a crack? Give me a crack.
That is the quote that I was looking for, because that's it. Close up the shop. It's over. We're pushing to close to a decade with this scenario. You look at the farm system, no one's coming to help. The guys that have been picked, they're not good. That's what the numbers dictate. That's not what I think. We know that. That is the case right now. And when you say when this happens, it's not one person, one department, or one player. This is team-wide. No, this is the general manager here. And it's sad. It's absolutely sad. And the bottom line is this. The performance isn't good enough. It's a bottom line business. Professional sports, bottom line business. You look at the state of the team this year, and more importantly, you look at the state of the team going forward, it's not good enough. It's not. I don't know what else to say. I don't know how there's an apologist out there that could come to that conclusion. It's not good enough, and it can't be fixed, and it won't be fixed, and there has to be change. There has to be some accountability for what this has turned into. There has to be. Red Wings did it. Steve Yzerman did it. And that collapse was 3 months. That wasn't 7 years. That was a 3-month collapse. He came in there, and there was accountability in the organization
but he also
for
had
it.
Autonomy. As we think, it's pretty much to the fact that...
Then why do we bother? Why are we bothering?
I don't know, because it's...
For real?
Right.
Why?
But that's where we're at. We shouldn't even bother, because it doesn't even matter at the top. It doesn't care. It's the same thing as. Here's the thing, Neal. And because of my history, because of being an addict or whatever, it's not my words, it's my actions, right? I don't even want to hear any words, because until I see actions that is different, because it never is. It's the same garbage. It's the abusive. You know what it got me thinking? And this is sad. How sad is this? What society we live in? Well, with all the other different organizations, and I'm thinking Chicago Blackhawks, Washington Commanders, or whatever, with all the things going on, at least we're talking about how inept our team is, not things going on behind the team that makes them POSs, right? So if I'm in my fandom going, well, at least we don't have off the field issues and it's a toxic environment, or it is a toxic environment for winning, right? They don't care, and until the top changes. So the bottom line, it's not going to get any better. Why? Because the more that this goes on, the more the aloofness, the more the I'm mad. That your manager's going to go, Hinch is going to go. You're not giving them a choice.
Avila concluded by saying, quote, "We're all obviously working hard to turn this around, and we will." Based on what? 7 years in the game, man. 7 years.
And I'd argue make another trade.
I'd argue it's worse now.
You don't want the guy controlling the money, controlling the draft, doing everything else, because it's only going to dig you a deeper hole. Here, keep giving the alcoholic the keys to the car.
I would argue they're in a worse position now than they were back then when he took over, because there were some chips that you could move, that you turned Justin Verlander and you turned J.D. Martinez into Daz Cameron.
And Jake Rogers.
Oh, I'm talking about guys right in the here and now.
What about an Alcantara? There's probably one of them out there.
How about this? How about the stat I sent you about winning trades, or Isak Paredes or whatever? Just set a record for the Rays, 4 consecutive home runs, 4 at-bats.
Yeah.
Did you win that trade too? You haven't won any trade. It's impossible. It's almost inept to go back 8 years and just give guys away. And that's the one thing too, Neal, is when you think back to see what we had and how it dissipated and stuff like this. I mean, honestly, are we getting to the fact that I never thought I'd say this, but is Avila worse than Matt Millen? What Avila has done to this organization, is it worse than what Matt Millen or Bob Quinn did to the Lions? What I'm saying is, you know what? I see no way out. So the Lions actually, Matt Millen and Bob Quinn didn't do as disparaging of a job.
I got quick breaking news, not to throw a wrench into the baseball talks, but DeAndre Ayton has said that he is excited at the idea of coming to Detroit and forming a dynamic duo with Cade Cunningham.
All right, so we're signing him after the... See, and wait, isn't that make Detroit start to be more of a destination?
Yes.
Isn't that a destination place comment, Neal?
Sounds like it.
Sounds like it to me, too. Well, you know what, DeAndre? Guess what, buddy? First stop when you got in town? Yeah, right here. Lady Jade's Haircuts for Men. Or not even this one specifically, but one of the 168 locally all around this great country. Yeah, they're all the same. You walk in, you sign in, you sit down. Before you know it, bing, bang, boom, King's treatment. You're taken care of, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. So Big D, when you get into town, stop by at Lady Jane's, get your hair cut. Why? It's wicked awesome. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. We'll be right back.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
I'm Cade Cunningham. I'm proud to partner with Hall Financial, the mortgage company known for 5-star service. Don't just take my word for it. Check out their 5,000 5-star reviews for yourself. Go to callhallfirst.com and get started with your 5-star experience today.
What's going on, everybody? It's Spencer for the Fulling Warehouse in Hamtramck. You know it, you've heard of it. It's the home of the original football bowling pin game called Fulling. Multiple ways you can play. They've got $12 open unlimited play. You can stay there open till close, have a good time. Or they have private lane reservation for $120, 10 to 12 people. You can bring in any type of food you want. You can have, if you're thirsty, they've got a $2 mystery beer vending machine. You put in $2, pops you out a good beer. No hassle, no fuss needed. Know what you want to make a decision. They have multiple fully loaded bars for you to choose from. So come on down and check them out in Hamtramck in person at the Fulling Warehouse, or visit them online at fullingwarehouse.com. Again, that is fullingwarehouse.com.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal, Ruhl, D-Mac, Darren McCarty here in the house. Happy to have you all with us. We got Spencer Raxter, we got Sam Flannel. The bobblehead is here on the table as well. And, you know, it's one of those things, and yeah, we can move off the Avila stuff. I think we made our point with that. Rob J says the JV trade kills me. Nothing to show. Exactly.
Oh, there's one. There's a lot.
Yeah. So I mean, it's one of those things where what new is there to add?
You know what's never brought up too? Just the last thing is you also signed free agent number 1 pitcher Eduardo Rodriguez. That's been out for personal reasons. I heard marriage things or whatever like this, but nothing's been done of that. So you go out and sign your top free agent, and he can't, he's not even playing. So it's just, and on a personal note, I hope everything gets solved and stuff like this, but it just adds on to it. You have to use that as a statistic also, right? And the bottom line, Neal, is it's great, to sit here and complain. What do we get? But somebody tell me what the way out is. Show me. Give me an idea. Say, D-Mac, and don't give me Job coming up in 3 or 4 years or whatever. Like, show me the pathway out, because I don't see
There isn't one.
There's zero. That's why what Troy Weaver did and what Steve Yzerman continues to do, and Brad Holmes, God bless those guys.
And you know what my other point of this is too, D-Mac? If he's not the way forward,
right?
Then right now, the trade deadline's coming up. Right now,
so we've thrown everything in for the last 8 years and stuff like that, whatever like that. Can we not just, if you're gonna nuke the thing, just nuke it? Start over 0, so at least us as Tiger fans can start somewhere, right? Because it's the stench and the continuation of the bad relationship that will not go away.
Trade deadline's like there's business going on. The trade deadline's coming up soon. If he's not your guy,
we're great at that.
If he's not your guy,
good thing we got nothing to get pillaged anymore.
So he's either your guy or he's not. He's not your guy, right? But if he's here for the trade deadline, then he's your guy. You see what I'm saying? Like I'm sometimes I get accused.
Grant. He couldn't have gone with Jerami Grant when we traded him. He could have thrown Avila in there. Charles.
Sometimes I get accused of being too cut and dry, right? Like I'm just
but where are we at? What have they given us or whatever? Like this cut and dry is just saying they put us to this point, right? Where's the water? It's an oasis. I'm in the desert. It's dry. There's nothing around.
Joe Nino says this on our YouTube chat thread, and we're not even talking about the trades they could have won, but overvalued the players, Fulmer, Boyd, and this was my thing with the Fulmer thing. The Fulmer thing for minute one. As soon as he won that Rookie of the Year award, man. As soon as he won that Rookie of the Year award, he lost a value every minute he was on your team.
Brandon Kirk, you're so dead this weekend. Tommy's going to kill you. I'm going to ICW deathmatch. I'm going to get this out, and I'm going to look, and it's going to be for Avila. So I don't care how much blood is shed this weekend. I'm bringing that Tigers angst with me. It's coming out there. I'll send pictures. God, it's like so infuriating, Neal. I mean, this could honestly be worse than the dead wing era that I grew up in, late 70s, early 80s, that couldn't win anything, but we could beat people up. But that doesn't matter, right? But it's like no hope. At least the hope was, you know what? Going to LCA in the late 70s, is Mr. Illich knew he had to give away cars. Start giving away cars at the ballpark or something. But we couldn't afford gas. Man, maybe electrics.
Rack says, by the way, Candelario right now is hitting 184. That's your guy, Sam Flannel. That's your guy.
That's your guy, Flannel. Neal told you at the beginning of the year. Yeah. I'll bring it up every time.
Oh, he led the league in doubles.
What do I know?
I never vouched for Jamer Candelario.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
Why am I getting slant? What? I did not say anything good about Jamer Candelario.
Hey, I will take all the slander you can throw at me, sir. Do not throw that.
And look at him trying to tap out right now after 5 seconds. He basically said your career was useless. You come at him for 5 seconds, and he's like, why am I taking slander here? Every time I talked about him, he said, oh, he led the league in doubles.
I did not defend Jamer Candelario. Come on, Spencer. Have
Spencer,
my back.
did he not say he led the That's always his go-to. Whenever I said Jamer Candelario is your opening day cleanup hitter. Well, he led the league in doubles.
I wouldn't
cool.
say he defended him per se, but
that sounds like defending to me.
He was putting stats out there,
which is another form of defending.
Oh my God!
I'm coming with receipts for everybody.
This is insane.
Everybody.
This is insane that I'm seen as the Jamer Candelario defender. I said it sarcastically yesterday, like he led the league in doubles.
Wait a sec, you don't have a sarcastic button. It's all accountability. You said with the stats that you've learned or the new truth or whatever that Jamer Candelario would lead this team to the promised land.
Yep, I definitely
You
said
and
that.
Avila. You're in cahoots with Avila. That's where you go. Oh my gosh. Sammy Flannel and Avila.
Oh my God.
Spending time together.
I can get accused of lots of things, but being in cahoots with Avila, I can't.
YouTube chat thread blowing up right now. And people wanted to know, when D-Mac was going on his spiel about the Tigers and we saw how fired up he was, somebody asked, and I lost who it was, so I apologize. Somebody asked, what does this mean for Sam Flannel right now with D-Mac on the warpath like he is?
I've never denied that D-Mac could pummel me into oblivion if he wanted to, but my goal is for him not to want to because it was all friendly.
And you know what? Banter. I had no inkling to do that when we were talking about how petty my career was, but now we're talking about Jamer Candelario being the savior that you want.
Well, because he led the league in doubles.
Just admit it.
Man.
Just admit it. Do you have Sam, in all seriousness, do you have any new information for me that would make me want to think any differently about the direction of the Detroit Tigers?
No.
Okay.
There's nothing. They're done. They had a 7-year rebuild where they're actually worse than they were to start. How much longer is it going to take? And the thought of Avila doing another trade deadline.
But this is I don't even think people realize this right now. The trade deadline is next month. in Major League Baseball. It is next month. Like, it's here. And every minute he's still the GM is a minute we get closer to, the trade deadline.
I mean,
either he's your guy or he's not, and if he's here, he's your guy.
You know how you always say in the Big Ten, Purdue's going to Purdue, Iowa's going to Iowa. In basketball today, you're going to see Sacramento.
And the Knicks,
And the Knicks, right? Do you know what the Tigers tigering is? It's not even on that level or that scale. It's so far. I can't think of another team in pro sports that is in worse shape moving forward than what we have with the Detroit Tigers. That's how bad it is.
It was a 7-year rebuild of nothing, and it's nothing's going to get any better.
Not nothing. Not nothing. Nothing would be as if you stayed where you were at.
They're worse.
You've not even dropped a level, Sam. You could honestly say you've probably dropped 5 levels to where you were. Because how long is it going to take you to get back there? Right? Even if you started today. Neal, say you did this. Say right now. Chris Illich is watching this. Hey, Chris, how you doing? Is watching this, and he says, you know what? Neal and D-Mac and, Sam Flannel's right. You know what? Bye, Al. Whatever else.
Well,
5, 6, 7, we're in the same.
That's up to him at that point, because Major League Baseball, as I've said all along, is the one sport where you can wake up in the morning and say,
tonight. Go Pistons. Yeah, we got the Wings coming up. The draft's the 7th. We have a coach before then, and you know what? Training camp's coming up soon for the Lions. I wish we had a Major League Baseball team in this town maybe one day.
Chuck Brewer says, so Flannel's an Al apologist? No, that's a stretch.
No, I wanted him gone after 2019.
You did not,
yes,
Sam Flannel. You did not.
How do you know?
Because I just knowing your character.
I wasn't even here. You didn't even know a Sam Flannel
Yeah,
existed.
but I know people like you, Sam Flannel, and you're all the same.
I am a Tigers apologist. That's just lunacy. It's blasphemous, as Stephen A. Smith would say. Absolute blasphemous. He should have been gone after 2019. Was that the year where they won 48 games? I think that was. That was the worst baseball team I've ever seen. But this one, oh my God, this one might actually top it. Although, if somehow, some way that Riley Green and Spencer Torkelson can... So Riley Green's been okay, but Spencer Torkelson can turn it around. Javi Baez is finally on that hot streak that he gets to every year, but that was after one of the worst starts to a season.
And think of all the series they've won because of that hot streak.
Absolutely nothing, because he's not surrounded by Anthony Rizzo and Chris Bryant and those Cubs rosters. And for the Mets last year, he was actually good the whole time. But he's, as a leader of a team, good God. Terrible.
Rob J says Sam's lost all credibility now. Rack says Jamer Candelario has 6 doubles this year. 6.
It's 184, 6 doubles, I think 5 home runs. He's not good. I knew he was not good. I just pointed out a fact that he led the league in doubles last year, but it was sarcastic. It was sarcastically like, oh, he led the league in doubles, not like defending him. Come on. I will not take that slander as a Jamer Candelario defender.
Keaton Rudiger says Neal thinks Sam eats cream of wheat. It's becoming quite obvious. I think he does.
You know what? This is how bad the Tigers are. They're not even in the talk of cream of wheat. And you know what? I think I would crush candy corn. I prefer candy corn over Avila right now.
That's a bold statement.
No, that's how bad, right? Like because candy corn.
I'd have to have it all in front of me,
right?
Like the options on the like about to be executed.
Like the Pistons making the Jerami Grant trade, it's open for dialogue, and that is the most serious. Like we say, like you hate. I might sit there with a can of olives and eat a whole can of olives that I hate the most out of anything in this world. Then I detest Avila, the job he's done. Not the human being. I like Al the person, but not the GM. See, that's differentiate. Because somebody show me a way out. That's all I need. Show me a way out, please.
Show us.
Show us.
And Paul Novak says Flannel Sam is flanneling right now. So
I'm a verb. I kind of like that, but I don't think he means that as a compliment.
I don't think he does either. I don't think he does either. I'll tell you about the Sports Marketing Agency. They help spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse disorder. Their podcast is called This is the F Word. It helps spread awareness of fentanyl and other addictions that are plaguing our community. If you're struggling or you know somebody else who is struggling, go to thesportsma.com. Again, that's thesportsma.com. The Sports Marketing Agency, they are here to help.
Make sure you're listening to Woodward Sports all day long. Start your morning with the Morning Woodward Show. Spend middays with Big D Energy. Watch and listen your drive home with the Bottom Line. And don't forget about Woodward Bets Daily. All live, all right here on the Woodward Sports Network.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991? Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Neal Ruhl here for oddstrader.com, the number one site for all of your game day betting activity. You can start your handicapping journey at oddstrader.com. Play-by-play updates, live scores, bet tracking. All you got to do, download the OddsTrader app from your app store. They'll get you the best price on every game. Repeat, because that's the most important part of what OddsTrader does. Don't give anything away. Don't just hop on a sports book and bet the game because that's what you want to do. Get the best price, and they'll do that for you and help you do it at oddstrader.com. They also monitor the sign-up offers from all the different sports books at oddstrader.com. Player stats, key game stats, all there for you at oddstrader.com. Coming up towards the finish line here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal Ruhl, D-Mac, Darren, McCarty, Sam Flannel, Spencer Raxter as well, wrapping up that Tigers discussion, if you want to call it a discussion. I don't know. Brandon Black says, I love Miggy, but didn't his contract kill the Tigers over the last couple of years? Or I'm sorry, Braden Black. Braden, let me tell you this, man. When they signed that deal, they knew, Miggy knew, I knew, I assume you knew, we all knew how this was going to end. It's just the way that all the contracts have been, but that's the tax you have to pay to get stratospheric players like Miguel Cabrera signed for essentially life. And that was the market. Albert Pujols set that market. You weren't getting Miggy for cheaper than they got Albert Pujols, so you knew how it was going to go. And I said that at that time because people were, some people were negative about that deal, saying that this is going to hamstring the franchise. That's the unique thing about baseball. It only kills your franchise if you allow it to, from an owner's perspective. You feel me there? Like, you can just say, yeah, we got to pay him that. Who's next? Who's coming in on the private jet next? Who we getting now? It's a mentality. And
plus, with who Miguel Cabrera and the pedigree and the merchandise and all that different stuff over the years, is that that's the no-brainer. It's everything around it. It's all the decisions made around it. I think that was the easiest decision to make. Were you really going to let Miguel Cabrera walk at that time when you were World Series contender?
Yeah, favorites.
So you got to remember, you didn't give him the money when you're sitting where you're at right now. Absolutely not. And we all knew this. You're going to pay for the end of the contract for what he did before.
That was the market.
Right now you're paying to watch that Triple Crown performance and everything else. So that's the sad part, is that, and here's the thing, Neal, why when we're sitting here this much later is because we don't have one in the barrel, right? Like we do with the Pistons and the Wings. We got championships that it worked, whether, the going to work Pistons or the bad boys or our heirs or whatever like this. So I don't care what it is. There is some grace period because of that. So the Tigers don't get that because, they got there, but they didn't get it done twice.
Yeah, so, and for me, it was just as simple as that. Miggy gets what he wants. That guy's one of the few that you can't question it. He delivered. He was the best, arguably the best right-handed hitter of our generation. Think about that statement now. The best in the game. And the numbers, Triple Crowns, MVP, all that stuff, man. The guy was silly. So, and I know baseball is unique too, because as I said, that Pujols contract that set the market. Are you back paying for that? Yeah, you are. But I've also always said this: guys like LeBron and Miggy in his prime, and the Lionel Messis and the Ronaldos, they're all underpaid. The Kobes, the Shaqs.
Because
Wayne Gretzky was underpaid.
How many tickets over those years did Miguel Cabrera put fans in the seats, not only here in Detroit, but everywhere that he went?
Tickets, jerseys, pay-per-view packages, all of it. TV contracts, TV rights contracts deals, because people want to see Miguel Cabrera. Think about it now. Those guys are worth it. And yes, I don't remember what Wayne Gretzky was making in the late 80s, but whatever it wasn't enough.
Right, absolutely.
He carried the sport.
Absolutely. And obviously the expansion of it when he was traded in 88 or 9 to LA.
Look what happened in LA. Boom, he shows up. Boom, it explodes. And now there are teams all over warm weather climates because of Wayne Gretzky. Period. End of story, man. And that's the thing. Tom Brady, all these guys are way underpaid. But why do they do it, though, D-Mac? Why does LeBron do it?
To win.
Well, they do
already got their bag.
Well, it's all that, too, but they do it for the players' union. You know what I'm saying?
Why at the end of the day?
Yeah.
Yes. Why at the end of the day? Because the players, because that's where the power is. The power is with your guys, your high guys. And there's 5, 8 of them in every league that could sort of dictate, and if they're willing to play, and if they play ball for the players, they take less money because they're getting it out elsewhere, but it trickles down and it helps everybody else's contract, right?
Yeah. So, it's Coabzilla says, Miggy showed us. Bingo! That's it. What do you do? Us. That's right, Rose. We got to get Rick Ross on the show.
Can you imagine if, with this team right now playing the way it is without Miguel Cabrera? At least he gives you something, because I don't care what it is. If I flip the TV,
do you stop what you're doing?
I'll watch.
How about that, Sam Flannel? Do you stop if Miggy's coming up to bat? Say you're in D-Mac's scenario. If you're watching the game, and the Tigers eventually, after giving up 4 runs, get the last out of the inning, and you see Miggy's hitting third, you going to stay tapped in?
No, because he's just a singles hitter now. He's not the Miguel Cabrera that we all knew and loved back in the day when he was the best.
Yeah, but you don't count because you're a dick. So, it's Spencer. Okay. You ever do something?
I didn't even say it. That's the best part.
D-Mac, you ever have something that popped, you see how the conversation's going, and you get the feel. And when Sam Flannel started talking about, his response, I knew in my mind that's where I was going to. And I knew it was going to be funny. And I knew people would get some laughs. But did you ever have something where it came out even better than it was in your mind? I knew I had lightning in a bottle. I knew it was going to be funny. I didn't know it was going to be that funny. It made me laugh.
Can we? Hey, that just brings in. Yes, no, honestly. But I would love to bring in Terminal Dennis and have Terminal Dennis and have Sam have a conversation, because oh my God, you would make Terminal Dennis cry because you're so he doesn't really care, but you are exactly what Neal said. The best part is that you said it. I didn't say it. I usually get accused of saying that.
Right.
But yeah, no, that was right on task.
And pretty much unilaterally.
Is that because the flannel's cutting off the oxygen now at 81 days or something like this? Or the confidence in the kid?
Francis Garcia, damn, Neal just destroyed Flannel. There are some things you just don't ever come back from.
Oh, and look at Keaton Rudiger ahead. You didn't read that one. Sam is right on this one. Yes, Keaton.
There's one.
Oh, way to go.
Let's take it to the YouTube chat poll. Do you still watch Miggy's at-bats? Let's see.
I mean, he hasn't been good at baseball since 2017.
Do you still watch Miggy's at-bats? Yes or no? We're going to put that up on the YouTube chat poll because I want to know.
But he doesn't. But I guess maybe Sam doesn't have the. I guess it depends on your investment, right? Because my sort of thing is, this could be the last time you see him. It's coming down to the end, so it's sort of taking it in because there was a time, right, where Babe Ruth was coming to the end, and all these guys at the end of their career aren't what they were in their heyday. It's just, I'm always looking for some sort of positiveness when it comes to the Tigers. When Miggy's up, I'll watch the at bat. Sometimes I wish I didn't. And other times it's it reminds me of watching Ordonez. He's going to hit it hard somewhere.
Tammy Chin says, "Don't worry, Sam. Neal likes you and appreciates you." There's Tammy, always cleaning up everything. I appreciate that from Tammy.
Tammy's the best, and it's all love. I thought it was hilarious, honestly. That was so dry and deadpan. I loved it, Neal.
Delivery is everything.
Dry and deadpan. Who'd have thought that, Sammy?
Delivery is everything in life. I got a mulligan delivered to me on the golf course the other day. Perhaps you saw it on the Woodward social channels. It is the official drink of summer. It is a mulligan, and it is made with Gypsy Vodka. Whether you're out on the golf course or hanging out in the backyard, the mulligan is calling your name. Can confirm. Stuff is fire. Absolute fire. It is perfect in the summertime. Be cautious. It's 8%. You know what I'm saying? Walk in aware. Let's just do it like that. But the stuff is incredible, man. And I really enjoyed it. Now, don't forget, I still love the classic Gypsy Vodka as well. I'll dump that in the glass with some ice cubes and some club soda and a couple limes because I'm high maintenance. And we'll call that an evening as well. Gypsy Vodka's got you covered. And you can get the mulligan at your local golf course or at a Total Wine store near you. It's the mulligan, brought to you by Gypsy Vodka. As always, drink responsibly.
He's going deep, right side. Oh, that is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Brandon Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, the sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
Glad that we can finally start trying to get the stigma off of mental health that's been there for all these years.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Back at it, final segment of the show. It's Ask DMAC time. You guys know what it is. Give you a couple seconds here to fire in your Ask DMAC questions. We can't get to them all, but I'll try to get to some of them. Steve Brown says, at least Neal admitted he's high maintenance. I'm not a high maintenance guy, DMAC. We joke and stuff like that. I go with the flow.
You're definitely not high maintenance. I know a few high maintenance people.
Sam Flannel.
Couple things before we ask DMAC. Obviously, Colorado takes a 3-1 series lead in the Stanley Cup Finals last night. Nazem Kadri, a little controversy on the overtime winner because whether there was too many men on the ice, because you can see in the video there's 6 guys on the ice, and that's a non-reviewable play. My thing, just in any sport, if you have instant replay, you have to get it right. You have to get it right. There has to be contingency to whatever else, because to me, that's why you're gonna have instant replay if you can't get everything right. So that's all I got to say about that. Also, too, here's the one thing that happened, and you saw it throughout the game, and I've said it this series. Obviously, goaltending to whatever else. Where Darcy Kemper not only played well enough yesterday to have Colorado win, and he was back in and bounced back. He also had an assist, first goalie ever to have an assist on an overtime winning goal in the Stanley Cup Finals. But injuries, and if you paid attention to the game, Tampa's the one that's suffering the injuries. Kucherov did not
look like himself.
Point still being out. Then Chernik, one of their best stay-at-home defensemen, blocking shots, couldn't return in the third. Their best face-off guy in Cirelli, who's supposed to shut down McKinnon on the top line, looks like he hurt his hand or something like this, where he wasn't able to take face-offs. That's part of the series. These are all the part of the series. The second, where I say goaltending's number one, staying healthy, is number 2, and then puck luck. And, you know, what can you say? There's a certain thing called karma I believe in, and the fact that Nazem Kadri, who had been out, has a broken hand, has to have screws and surgery put into it, was able to score the overtime goal. So if I'm a betting man and knowing about momentum, the Colorado has to win Game 5. They got to go home and know that they got to play the best game of their series, and I think that this is the one to put them down. You don't want to give the champs any life at all, but I think that what we're seeing is just at the end of the day, it's the duration.
And you've talked about that before, where the Red Wings were in those scenarios where you knew you were closing it out. You knew that day,
and you knew you had to. Like I always tell you, the greatest before after we beat Philly, I think it was 6-1 or Game 3 at home. The whole day of Game 4, the finals in '97, it's just having this that we weren't going to be denied, that we couldn't be denied. Like the difference between being overconfident but having that confidence that we can't let it not happen. Now, in saying that, it worked out at home in that game, but going to Game 7 against Pittsburgh in '09, where was the game that I think left the worst taste in anybody's mouth when you lose a Game 7 in the Stanley Cup Finals. You know, and for me, I retired after that.
Right.
You know,
it was
and stuff
over,
like.
yeah.
But it's just one of those things that sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. You look to the reason why. But yeah, you have to close this out. You have to close this out. And Colorado feels it too. They feel it, and I think they're ready because just like I mentioned, the first game of the series when
they're ready. They look like a team that's ready.
When Tampa came back, they didn't flinch.
Yeah.
So they're ready.
They're ready to win. Ready. Ask DMAC. It is that time. We'll rapid fire these, DMAC. Rack, ask DMAC. Why'd you choose hockey? Is it because you weren't tough enough to play football? LOL.
That's exactly it. No, we didn't have football in Canada. I played rugby instead, which is a man's sport. It's like football without equipment. So, yeah, rugby and hockey. Because I was better at punching people in the face than I was at hitting a curveball.
Harley Fife wants to know, DMAC, does pineapple belong on pizza?
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Olives do not belong on pizza.
Francis Garcia, DMAC, would you be all right if the Avalanche switched it back and called themselves the Nordiques?
Yeah, I wouldn't care. Only if they changed the back
logo
to the fleur-de-lis.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Iconic. I have a shirt. I should wear that shirt.
Or maybe they could do this and just put another team in Quebec City.
Oh, that'd be fire.
That'd be friggin' fire.
Yeah,
dude.
It would be. You've told me about
Quebec. One of the greatest
Quebec.
bars.
Yeah.
The Dago Bear.
Yeah, we got it. We got to check that one out. Jeremy Anderson, who do you think will be the Wings coach, DMAC?
You know what? I still think it's. I'm going to go with the assistant. My number one is Derek Lalonde. Somebody asked me earlier to mention up former Rangers young guy David Quinn. I just don't think Stevie's going to go back to back with more of a college guy than a guy that I know he's got some experience, but I don't see it. I know Sean McDonough mentioned it yesterday on the bottom line, but I would say Lalonde 1 and Gromberg 2.
They closed the YouTube chat poll. Do you still watch Miggy's at bat? 66% of you say yes. 34% of you say no. So
I figured I was going to lose that one, but that's okay.
You take a lot of L's, Sam Flannel.
You know
That's
what?
what you do. You're not afraid to take the L's, buddy. You should have a Tigers uniform on in there.
Oh, man. They're W's in my mind, and I can make them W's. You'll see.
So all that matters that's it. All that matters to you.
Aaron Tackett, DMAC, did you see Okada in AEW last night?
Oh, heck yeah. One of the greatest in the world. It's going to be awesome. Forbidden Door this weekend. Anybody who's got IWTV, check out Saturday night. I will be with my boy Tommy Vendetta. We got to go take care of Brandon and Casey Kirk in New Jersey. But Forbidden Door, AEW, New Japan. It's going to be awesome on Sunday. Stay tuned.
The watchers want to know, will the Wings get good enough soon enough to start another rivalry while the Avs are still good?
Nah, Western, Eastern. You don't play enough. Your rivalry right now, you want to be good, is back original 6 with Toronto. That's when that rivalry comes up. They're better than us. When that rivalry starts heating up in the Eastern Division, that's the rivalry, and it's going to get back to like it was 50 years ago.
Absolutely. You are out tomorrow.
You are out tomorrow?
I will be here.
Oh, you will.
Yeah, we'll get you the NBA draft reaction and stuff like that. I do have to cut out early, though. Got the little up north extravaganza with the guys to play golf.
I like it.
So we'll be doing that. I will be here, though, for the draft reaction and all that kind of stuff. So we'll hit that up. You'll be out. I will be out Monday, Rocket Mortgage Classic Media Day.
Nice. I'll be out also. I'll be coming back. We'll regroup on Tuesday.
We'll reconvene on Tuesday. We'll get it all in. I'm sure we'll complain about the Tigers and everything else. Appreciate everybody tapping in to Big D Energy for D-Mac, for Sam Flannel, and Spencer Rexter. My name's Neal Ruhl. Thanks for watching.
Deuces.
Well, see you later.